Okay, hi, welcome back. So more early days with your baby, and in this section I want to have a look at when you first go home with your baby, what you can expect to happen, who you can expect to visit you, all sorts of things about those early days with your baby. But before we look at that, I've just got a couple of things that I think it's really important to discuss with you, and one of those things is about coping with a crying baby. Now we know all babies cry, After all, it's one of the ways they use to communicate with us. We know that all babies cry. And in a previous video, we looked at, the importance of, soothing your baby, cuddling your baby, interacting with your baby. So we've already discussed that, but we also know that in those first few weeks and months with a newborn baby, it can be challenging, and it can be especially overwhelming when you're struggling to soothe a crying baby. But it is normal behaviour. Babies do cry. Now what we're kind of thinking about here though is when there may be a time, there may be a particular occasion when you've done everything. You've cuddled the baby, you've changed the baby's nappy, you've fed them, you've soothed them, and you've done that numerous times, and yet they still are crying. So you're really tired, you're feeling fed up, you're beginning to get angry, the baby's still crying. The safest thing that you could do at that time would be to put the baby down somewhere safe and walk away, maybe into another room. Of course, listen out for your baby. If the baby goes quiet, come back in and check that they're okay. But maybe just move into another room. Make sure they're safe. Just move into another room. Maybe have a cup of tea. Just sometimes, just to, break that chain, move out of that circumstance, that situation, can just, after a few minutes, make you feel so much calmer, so much better. Because what we have to remember is babies are fragile. We know they're fragile, and in that split second, it's easy to be, when you're a full-grown adult, shall we say, vigorous, and babies are fragile. So the best thing to do is, if you're feeling tired, if you've done everything and the baby's still crying, is to put the baby down somewhere safe, move away for a couple of minutes. Now, there is a really good website that I would recommend you have a look at that sort of talks about this in a lot more detail and talks about it much better than I have just tried to sort of talk to you about it just then. And that website is called ICON, ICON, and the I stands for infant crying is normal and it will stop. The C stands for comfort methods, sometimes soothe the baby and the crying will stop. O stands for it's okay to walk away if you've checked the baby is safe and the crying is really getting to you. And N stands for never, ever shake or hurt a baby. So this website is a really good one to have a little look at. It explains things, lots and lots of information on there, including, lots of information about, the baby's development, really, how, over the weeks and months, when the periods in time that they're likely to cry more, cry less. So lots and lots of information around there, and some interesting, useful little videos as well that go with that. Now the information for that website is the link for it is with us on Family Assist. So please have a little look, and have a little look at a bit more information around what I've just started to talk to you about. Also, something else that I just want to mention about is about something called reducing parental conflict. You think, what's she talking to us about that for? What's all this about? The reason that I want to just mention about reducing parental conflict is, to start with, I would say, of course, not all conflict is negative. Conflict can be really positive, can't it? It's a great tool to have learnt how to resolve conflict, but it's when you're unable to resolve it, it can be an issue. Yeah, and we know the research shows us that in that first year as a new parent, between 40 and 70%, I know that's quite a vast expanse of numbers, but between 40 and 70% of couples report experiencing a decline in relationship quality in that first year as a new parent. And also, other research tells us too that around 42% of children by the age of 16 are no longer living with both parents. So, you know, it's easy to see how conflicts may occur in those, you know, in pregnancy and those early days with a baby, and, you know, change and how life all changes. And this little handout, that if you were with us at one of the one-day programmes or on Baby Matters, we would give this to you as a little hard copy. It's just a little bit of information that starts to make you think about that perhaps a little bit. It's maybe something you say, well, this is never going to apply to me, I never need to know, and that's true, and I really hope that's the case, but it's kind of just maybe an interesting read, so it's just sitting there somewhere in the back of your head should ever you need it. What you can see is it just talks about some of the triggers that may lead to conflict being caused, yeah, and also it looks at some of the things that might influence dealing with it, really. So influence the coping strategies that might go with that. So hopefully quite an interesting read, and again something that you can look at your leisure via Family Assist, because the links are there for you to see this. So I would say that is, it's 6 minutes plus, almost 7 minutes there of chatting now. So I think it might be a good idea if we just stop the video here, and I'll see you again in a little while, and we'll discuss, as we planned, to talk about those early days when you're going home with your baby. Okay, so see you in a little while. Bye for now.